How do we start it though? Just like that, hey? Hey, Darryl.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Darryl. Good to see you again. We're here. I don't know if anybody noticed or if you haven't watched our first episode yet, you can go back and see it. But when we were done
Yeah.
recording, Darryl had mentioned that it kind of looked like I might have looked like a kind of Disney character there with the way I had my discs set up. So in honor of that, I've come prepared with
There you
my
go.
R2D2 ears
That's
that I picked up.
that's almost perfect. Those discs,
And
they look like they're just sitting on the shelf right now.
well, I'm not going to wear this the whole episode. I just thought you might get a kick out of that.
Okay.
Now, I know I threw this on you. We didn't discuss this. So put on your
Yeah,
thinking cap here and shoot some
yeah.
holes in my idea.
The bit of a pause there was me taking a second to try and think the pros and the cons.
And all you can
I,
think of is how wonderful the idea is, right?
yeah, we'll end the episode there.
Yeah, no.
Or should I say, it could be partly my catchphrase? You know that I like your idea, but you're wrong.
Ouch.
I
So
don't
what?
know. I don't necessarily love the idea. I'm not going to say I hate it. I'm just
Okay.
trying to think why I don't like it. I
Hey,
think
everybody. Welcome to Chain Out, the disc golf podcast for Canada. Nope, I'm not doing that one. I got lost. I got lost.
I could feel you were like searching for words.
I'm like, I went way beyond the simple thing.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again. 5 seconds. It'll just be simpler. I think what it is I don't know what
Episode 3?
it's episode 3, but do I want to call it the Chain Out or Welcome to Chain Out podcast? Episode 3, I think.
Chain Out Podcast.
Yeah, okay. Because that's how we've got it labeled. So
Yeah.
with you, I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is Darryl.
Hello, everybody. How's it going, Jeremy?
Going well, Darryl. How about you? How you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. Can you tell? My voice is. I'm not. I got that bit of a sexy Barry White voice going on, I think.
Oh,
Or
you
just
say sexy Barry White. I was thinking maybe a little Phoebe Buffet smelly cat
Phoebe.
voice there.
Yeah.
Podcasting energy that we've got is like a healing energy. That's what I'm going
There
to
you
say.
go. Yeah. Channeling my inner Phoebe Buffet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, till then, Smelly Cat says, chain out.
Chain out.
There for it. But for me, I think what the difference is that if I have an errant shot at Nor'Wester, I'm gonna hit a car. A car is pretty strong. It's gonna my disc is gonna bounce off it. If I have an errant shot at the hills, and
I know
hit
where
a
you're
person, it's gonna bounce off them, but it could do a lot more damage hitting a person. And I feel that those tight
Right.
lines, I'd rather go onto a road and hit a car or hit a truck or something like that than hit an actual person. So that's what I'm gonna use as my deciding factor of why I'd prefer to play Nor'Wester. Plus, Nor'Wester is gonna have the longer distance, all the things that we
Right.
talked about than the hills. But one of those things is I'd rather hit a car than hit a person.
That's a fair.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chain Out Podcast. I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is your favorite co-host, Darryl.
Favorite co-host?
Why, thank you, Darryl and Jeremy. I'm so happy to be on Chain Out Podcast with you and glad that you were able to invite me. I'm really excited to tell you a lot about oh, I'm not the guest that you were expecting to have on the show tonight? How did you know?
That's the thing. So I had a huge mix,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of different brands, but then I hold a Comet, and then I hold a Buzz, and then I hold a Wasp, or I hold whatever. Name your EMAC Truth or whatever.
Yeah.
They all feel a little bit differently in your head. It's not the same disc, even if it's virtually the same disc. If you hold an EMAC Truth and a Buzz SS or whatever
Yeah.
you consider to be the same as that, it's not gonna in your head it's not going to be the same disc. So
Yeah.
Right.
That's such an interesting way to look at it, Jeremy. I've never thought about that. I mean, I know I've spoken. Obviously, Tim said that at one point he had 7 Nate Sexton
Firebird.
Firebirds in his bag, and they kind of explain it. Yeah, obviously, the more beat in the disc gets, the more understable it gets. So that's why they have that. But until Brendan just said it, then like not necessarily having the disc because it beats in, but just having it because it feels the same. You've got the same disc in your hand, you're throwing it, and it's that's kind of just hit me there for a second. So it feels like I've just leveled up in my disc golf knowledge now. That's the reason for having multiple discs of the same, because of the feel.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to get you to stop buying discs. I just want you to buy more of the exact same disc.
Yeah,
And then if it's wrong, you just have to buy more of a different disc.
You want to hear something? I hear there's a secret word on the street. I don't know nothing. But I hear the secret word is horse feeder. But you didn't hear it from me. Yeah, no. So who knows what's going to happen in the spring and summer? Maybe we might go down to 1 every 2 weeks. Maybe we'll
Don't
the quality
talk
won't.
like that.
Who knows what's going to happen? I'm just preempted. I'm just kind of giving ourselves a barrier. What do they say? Under promise and over deliver.
Over deliver. I'm
There
just
you
going to
go.
over deliver all the time. You
Yeah,
like the
no, you.
weekly? We're giving you the weekly.
Yeah, you don't have to episode. All right, let's do it. What have you been up to? People don't want to hear our woes of editing. They just want the final product. And this is the final product. So what have you been up to?
It's easy for you to say, hey, yeah, I'm cool if women play. Oh, it's a women's event. I'm going to go out to this other course and play that weekend. Well, why wouldn't you just give that weekend up and support them?
That's such a good point.
I was thinking
Absolutely.
that same thing, Jeremy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know
It
Kristen
makes
Swirls
total sense as well.
Kristen Swirls, I think, has an event coming up, right?
She's
She's up first.
Yeah.
She's up first. How many men are going to step up and spot? Like when I was in Cranbrook for Crush in 2022, we were flooded. Like the men were running the raffles, they were running the check-in, they were giving out, like passing the prizes to the tournament director, they were spotting. It was insane. Like we had so many men out there doing so many great things for the sport. It was just awesome to see the support. I had Crush here. We had guys coming out. We had families coming out. The moms were playing and the sons and husbands were helping. And I think it's really important. It's very easy to say, I'm okay with women playing. It's a little harder to give up your time to support women playing. And that's what speaks volumes. That's the true show of how much you really want them there. Does that, I guess.
Oh,
yeah. No,
I'm not calling anybody out in particular. I'm just saying from personal experience and noticing the necessity of needing men, especially, to walk the walk, just don't talk the talk.
Well,
I feel like that was just a light bulb moment that you just mentioned there, because when you were saying it, in my mind, I was thinking, well, it's a women's event, so they don't want that masculinity involved in it because they don't want, the men are here thinking that we can't look after the event. Like that was my mindset. But then when hearing you say that you want men involved because it shows that we're supporting, I looked at it from a different point of view, and I can understand now, actually we should be volunteering. And it's not like we're trying to take over. It's not like we're trying to say you can't run your own event. We're not saying any of that. It's just being involved and doing whatever needs to be done. Like you said, picking up litter, spotting, and anyway, anything that happens just to make the tournament run successfully.
And the best thing to do is just reach out to the female TD and say, I want to give up my weekend and help you out. What can I do?
Guess what, Jeremy?
What?
Now our listeners and viewers have a chance to enter their own competition because, drum roll please, we're announcing our first ever Chain Out podcast competition. Woo, 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 woo. It just sounds like we're a bunch of trains.
Our guest today is an Alberta FPO player. She is a personal coach with Fit Theorem. She is the captain of BR's 2024 ambassador team. She is one of the most positive and energetic people you will meet. She likes to go by the title Heiser Bomb. Hang on,
Oh.
Darryl.
What?
I gotta stop the intro, man.
Why? I thought you were doing a good job.
Well, when you have a great guest on like we do today,
Right.
I don't think the standard intro is gonna work. I think we need more.
More. How can you
Yeah.
how can we go bigger than that?
I think we need a song, buddy.
A song? It better be a solo song.
Yeah, no, I was gonna put you on the spot right away.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm thinking more of a song. Yeah, are you ready for this? I hope you're ready.
I'm
this.
ready.
I've been working on
I'm
this
buckled
all
in.
week. All week I've been
Okay.
working on this.
Okay.
All right,
I
so this is
expect
a
nothing less.
song inspired by the great Tom Jones. Here we go. High's a bomb, high's a bomb, high's a bomb hong. Not only can she throw it straight, but she can throw it long. High's a bomb, high's a bomb, high's a bomb hong. It's time to bring her on the show. So Darryl, if you're ready, let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Around the Basket, episode 26.
Whoop, whoop.
Are you getting a bit carried away from the little montage there? The now we just sound like trains.
Yes, when you do that montage, everything in that montage is so great. I love the Secret Spy. I love Mustache Man. But when the trains come through, like that was like just a piece of, the piece de resistance.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey Dylan, how are you doing? Thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in.
Well, first off, why don't we just ask the live group that's with us here?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that last episode? We just finished doing the Dieppe Open.
So yeah, okay. Here's a kind of a question on that question.
Okay.
Whenever we finish these interviews, we're always like, "Oh man, these guests just keep getting better and better." Right? It
Yeah.
always seems like every guest is outdoes the one before it, right? That sort of thing. We know they're not like that. Every guest is nice and good in their own way.
Yeah.
But it just seems like we're so enjoyable after every episode. Is that the way that the chat feels as well? Like the listeners, like do you feel like they're do you ever feel like they're good interviews and they're great and we get the answers out of them and we get to see a behind the scenes of everything, or do sometimes you just you watch an interview and you're like, yeah, I could have took it or leave, take it or leave it.
Yeah, we know
From our point of view, every episode is like, oh man, that was so great.
Yeah, it's so awesome to see him. And with this last one, we were just kind of joking to the side there too. This is our first, we've talked to Chandler Fry. No, Chanimal. That's Chandler Fry.
Yeah,
we talked to him because he won the BC Open last year.
Yeah.
So that was a Pro Tour US person because we focus on Canada.
Right.
And that's why we talked to him. We talked to Scott Stokely because he was going to be coming up. We talked to Nate Sexton because of Smith Lake Farms.
Yeah.
And then I guess just adjacent to Thomas Gilbert because he was in his RV, we got a little cameo from Kyle Klein tonight.
Yeah, we got a little hi from Kyle Klein.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, Dylan says they're great. He likes them.
Exactly. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Great. Well, and that's why he's such a good supporter of the podcast. If we
Yeah.
weren't doing good, he wouldn't support us.
No, like we were saying though, it is awesome to see that Thomas is good friends with people like that he can be off the tour for a month or two, however long he's taken off for whatever commitments he's got going on, but then just to be able to be like, yeah, I'm coming back on tour for this event. Hey Kyle, can I crash in your RV for this weekend, or at least
do a podcast
from it? Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, and we are in our Patreon episode, and if you are watching this on YouTube, you can be part of this live by joining our Patreon at any level, including free. If you join at one of the levels that costs a little bit of dollars out of your pocket, you get free entry into all of our our content.
Giveaways.
Yeah, all our giveaways.
All of our giveaways.
And, it felt like there was a little bit of not a drought. I don't want to say it that way, but we just hadn't given anything away for a little while.
Right.
And now all of a sudden it's piled up again. And we're just going to be like post after post after post.
I think maybe this is a little bit into your insight, because whenever we're doing the podcast, if there's like a millisecond of dead air, Jeremy's. I gotta fill it. I gotta fill it. We can't have nothing. We gotta have something.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're the same with, okay, we haven't had a giveaway. You're like, okay, well, maybe we'll do a 400 subscriber giveaway. Maybe we'll just give away a disc. We haven't given away one in a while. We got to give stuff away. Like there are times that it's okay when there is a little bit of a drought. If something doesn't happen, that's okay, because there's a saying in England, like when you're waiting for a bus,
Yes.
you can wait all day and then all of a sudden 2 will show up.
Gotcha. The same kind of thing.
And that's the kind of thing with the giveaways.
Well, and I think with that last giveaway that we still haven't done the post yet for, but for the Fractal A2, that was just maybe punishment for you for trying to skip out on an episode, because you didn't join us for one episode out of 80.
Yeah.
And then I decided I was going to give away things without you here.
That's fair. Yeah.
So that'll teach you for not being on the podcast. Well, you know what? We did touch on it with the DF Open. We were talking about the Chain Out Fantasy podcast that we've got going on in the picks that Dylan has been so great at helping us with. I'm telling you, like the way we do our episode ones where we're picking with the guest and the fun and the voting, I like that. But I'm really liking the competitive side.
You only like it because you're winning.
And maybe because I'm winning, yeah. That's because I think maybe I slipped Dylan a couple dollars there as the programmer to maybe, I think I found a way to give Jeremy a couple more points.
And actually, you had said prior to the podcast, and I said, no, you didn't. Because this week we had a little bit of an issue. There was a bit of a bug where I was unable to enter the scores and the positions.
Right.
But you had mentioned to me, you said, this is why I got so many points, because Colleen got an eagle.
Yes.
But we checked, and according to Dylan's input, she never had herself down as an eagle.
Right.
But then when we were talking to her, I think she said that she eagled a hole.
I don't know if she eagled or she was in position for
to eagle, maybe?
is what it was. But I believe what I was thinking was there was a fair amount of spread on that whole 16 or 15 it was between Chantel and Colleen. But it was a number of strokes, but it was because I believe Colleen or Chantel got a double bogey and Colleen got a birdie. So it wasn't an eagle spread, but there was a bit of a spread there between the two scores. Okay. But yeah, no, I'm loving what Dylan and you have set up. You guys have done so much great work and I love it. But Dylan says that's why I'm last. LOL. I think it's because, you've been concentrating on so much on just getting that app up and running and tweaking it and doing all the things you're doing for it. You don't have time to concentrate on the picks.
And you know what? The amount of work that Dylan's putting into it for such a short period of time, like, there was like a month before everything was rolling around, and I kind of mentioned to him, let's do this. Yeah. He had something in place, so it was kind of like I don't want to say thrown together at the last minute, because that's not fair. But in the terms of creating a software, it was put together very quickly. Yes. There was no beta test. There was the beta test was
the first
spring runoff in Foxford Open. Yeah. So we're figuring out all the little ins and outs and things that don't work properly, or maybe the screen orientation. There's something I need to talk to you about, Dylan. Things like that. But for it to be a running, working app that we can use, and that people are obviously enjoying it as well, because like you say, we've got over 20 people signed
participating. Well, that's and also great. With it too, right? Like I believe if you had told me was Dylan was working on this, and then I think it was one of those things where when you put two people, like when you want to do something on your own, you want to do it, you're working on it, it'll get out when it can get out. But when two people are putting their heads together on it, then you're pushing each other, and that so you've had some ideas, and like I said, that just helped him. He's got all the programming abilities to make it happen, and it really looks good, and I can just see it getting better and better. And LTL is the next one. The only thing I'm kind of wondering, and I'm throwing this out, when I do an audible, and you're gonna get your hand over the button. Okay, Dylan, what might be coming when I'm gonna make a proposal like this. But as you said, we beta tested those first two tournaments, right? And as a result, anybody who's joined when we actually made it live to everyone missed out, and they're really not in the competition as much because we're two tournaments ahead.
Right.
What my proposal is, and this is where he might want to push the button, but my one thought is anybody who joined at the third tournament, like Kevin King, for example, maybe what we should do is we should take the first two tournaments, what was the average score of everybody, so they're not getting an advantage. We just give them those average points so that they're actually in the competition for the rest of the year.
No.
But you're wrong.
So you just think that all the people who were in early just have an advantage?
So there's lots of reasons. It's in its infancy. It's in its first. You could almost call this the beta test, the first season, because we're still working on it. So yes, there is an unfair advantage for the first people that were in that. The Patreon subscribers, because they got access, and the people that we knew that we gave it to. But that's why I also said that we'll run 2 competitions. We're going to run one till the halfway point.
Okay.
So then from 6 months on,
you'll have a new set of
there's going to be another set. Yeah. And then, as Dylan said, some people may miss their picks, because
that's true.
There are some people that have picked and only picked. I think Matt Lysak is one of them that only picked in the first week, because he was part of that first
group when we were doing those first
ones.
He
was in there. I don't actually see. I don't think he's actually
Park Pro Matt. They're number 14.
Right there. Yeah. So he's only got 440 points, which indicates that he's only picked for one event.
Gotcha. So if you do miss out, then you might miss there. I think, that's really good. And I just want to say one thing to you.
I value your opinion, but you're wrong.
So I think we'll just agree to disagree. That's right. Jeremy pushed the button that time.
I don't like it when I'm not on the podcast and I say, Jeremy, these are the buttons, this is what you have to push. Now I have to move them around a bit, give them different color coding.
Exactly, because now I know what they are. Just a quick reach over.
Yeah.
But Patreon's growing too, Darryl. We're up to 27 members now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it could be even more.
When did you check?
I checked it. Spencer Young actually joined on a free level there with us.
No, we're up to 30, Jeremy.
30.
Yeah, we got 3 new. We got Tim Airy, we got Ricky Robichaud, and Abe Froman.
Oh wow!
Which is Kevin King,
and then there's Spencer Young.
Spencer Young is
3 more joined tonight. You guys are awesome. We appreciate. We put out those calls for support, and then you come and you do it. And really, we really want it just to continue to grow the Canadian disc golf presence that we've started, and it's all been because of you. Just 2 guys sitting in, I think I was in my bedroom for episode 1 on a chair, and now here we are, 80 episodes in.
Let's look at it this way, Jeremy. How amazing was the hang on, let me rephrase that.
All right, yeah, that's
how amazing.
Easy for you to say.
Was the Dieppe Open last weekend?
So amazing,
and it was the 5th year.
Yes,
this is only our first year and a half of the Chain Out podcast.
Imagine
when we get to year 5.
Watch out!
Exactly,
you won't be able to handle it.
Poor life, who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
staggered stance. What?
Yeah.
So, and with the Patreon episodes, as Dylan's already got here, we're wanting you guys to interact with us. We want to get your opinions, get your thoughts and everything else. Tell us we're wrong, that you value our opinions, or you don't value them, whatever it is. But that's what we want to do. We just want to have a little fun, keep talking disc golf, and do it without the time restriction that we might have in some of those interviews.
It's funny. One thing that I've looked at on YouTube is when you get to a certain point, you can offer YouTube memberships and things like that. And you can also have channel specific emojis. And you can have little gifts next to the person's name and things like that. And I think what we should try and get made up is a little gift that says, I value your opinion, but you're wrong.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Well, I think, we talked about this before, and I know Dylan knows as well, is that we've kind of coined some terms on the podcast. And we haven't used a lot of them lately, but it's not even us that's coined them. Sometimes it's been misspeak by us, but sometimes it's just been different cool things that our guests have said.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that I think I've always liked was Brian Henniger was talking about when he was disc golfing and when he got into it, and he was gaga crazy over disc golf.
Right.
And I think to me, that was one that I loved, and value your opinion, but it's wrong. All of those stuff, you know. So it's cool. I really like all of that. And we talked about it. One thing maybe when we've been working on, well, we'll put this out there, which I think a lot of people know who've listened to Patreon, is we're trying to get a new logo for Chain Out. We're working with a great logo designer, and we're hoping that's going to come through. If it can't, sometimes those things happen. It's just not the right time for that. We'll put it out there to a number of other people we know to get a logo, but no matter what, we're working on getting a new logo. And when we do, I want to get we both want to. We want to get new gear, new hats. We want to get jerseys. I was thinking that could be a cool idea too, is maybe having some t-shirts with your favorite, here, get your hand over the button, having some t-shirts or something, but with a saying on the back.
Definitely.
Like Gaga Crazy or something like that.
I've definitely said, yeah, okay.
You're with that?
We can have our manufacturing design
Meeting later.
meeting later.
All right. Well, should we get into a topic here?
Let's do it.
Right.
And I have to apologize
Why is that?
because we had the ATB has kind of gone through a couple iterations and all that, and we said, okay, this is what it is. This is what it is. Where is it? You weren't happy with it. I wasn't happy with it. We got to think.
I think we just wasn't where we. It's not that I don't think we were ever unhappy.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I think we just hadn't. We didn't know what it was yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I knew what I wanted it to be, and you knew what you kind of wanted it to be, but it didn't kind of marry up. So then we kind of shifted things around a little bit, and we said, okay, well, why don't we do this? And I said, yeah, that works good because then I can do this. So far, I haven't done anything in this respect. So I appreciate all the effort that you put into making the ATB, and eventually will get down, and I've been working on other stuff.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
that I
well,
don't
then
do
that's the
anything,
thing is like you
but-
spent all day. I think hopefully everybody noticed it at the Chain Out podcast one is a lot of times at the start for the last.
I think it's for any intro. So the ATB, the fantasy, the Chain Out podcast, the intros, the outros, the coming soon, any of the video files that have
some sound in them. You might have noticed that ever since we figure it was since the Matt Riordan episode, it kind of went glitchy. So we could hear it fine, but we'd listen to it on the audio the next day or something like that. Yeah. And it was kind of, is that a pretty good example?
That was good. That was good.
But now you spent pretty much a good chunk of your day with our podcast service provider and you got it fixed.
And that's the thing. So from my point of view, like you might have the script to write and you've got to get it written or the outline. And on a Saturday, you've got to write it. On the Sunday, you've got to write it. Monday comes and, it gets closer to that podcast deadline. For me, I've been working on a new intro for ATB because I didn't really like the way that the first one was. We were getting more Patreon subscribers, which is a good thing. I had to try and incorporate that. So I was working on a different intro, but then that kind of got scrapped because I had some guests in there. So now I've been working on another intro, and it's been sitting there every time I open up to do the new intro for a Chain Out and the new whatever else I need to do. I keep looking at it and thinking, I need to get that done. I need to get that done. So finally, today was one of those days where it was like, okay, I know the audio is bad because people have told us that there's still no audio when it goes out live. And it's frustrating because when I push the button, me and you can both hear it.
You can hear it fine.
And it's fine. At one point I thought it was YouTube. I went and checked.
I thought you were going to say I thought it was you, as in me.
No, I can't blame you for that. But I went and checked the Facebook Live because for those also people that don't know, we do stream not only live on YouTube. We don't mention this enough on the Chain Out podcast, and I think we need to. This is a kind of a brainstorming in our intro or that part where you tell everybody.
Yes.
Make sure people are aware that we also do go live on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
that's so if you're not a YouTube person, if you're a Facebook person, we go live on Facebook as well. But I checked the feed on Facebook and it was doing the same thing. There wasn't a YouTube issue.
It was getting the transmission. Yeah.
But today I had everything taken apart and I was down to just a laptop.
Wow.
And it was still doing it. So I eliminated every little piece of extra equipment that I have. And yeah, like you said, I was on with support and eventually figured it out. Got it all working. That's the main.
Yeah, that's why you're the tech wizard there.
I try.
Well, making things better and improving things, that's kind of where my first topic was. And that was about courses and cool course features. And kind of way I wanted to start this conversation was when you did the Great Escape event that was at Hermitage Park in Edmonton. We went and we set up
tournament. Oh, you mean when I TD'd my first event?
Yes. One career win, one tournament directed.
Yes.
I don't know what your next first will be, but it'll be out there.
Yeah.
But when we were there, we set up Tournament Central right up at the practice basket.
Yes.
And we noticed something that was happening around there. Someone had done something. They had taken some brick markers in the shape of red diamonds with numbers on them, and they put them around the basket. And then what do they got there? I think it's like 15 feet all the way up by fives, circling around in a spiral around the basket, all the way up to 50 feet.
Correct.
And I thought to myself, this is pretty cool. And this is a feature that I haven't seen at other disc golf courses. And it made me think, what are the kind of cool features that maybe listeners have seen on a disc golf course or that you think would be cool to see on a disc golf course? And I know you and I have played a lot of the same ones, but have you seen anything that, made you go, wow, I've never seen that before. Or that would be cool. Or have you ever had any ideas of something that would be a neat add to a course?
That's an interesting one. I think, Nothing that springs to mind of things that I've seen at a course that stands out from any other course. You're right that not only they're at Hermitage, but they're also at Rundle Park now as well, around the practice basket at Rundle.
Okay.
They've appeared there as well. But that is a great feature to be able to say, oh, okay, I want to practice my circle one putting, to find the 30 feet marker, step back a little bit, and you've got your circle one, right?
Yeah, because most of the time we just kind of step away from the basket, then we throw a few discs, and then we go pick them up, and then we step away again. We could be stepping away at 12.5 feet every single time and think that we're practicing different distances.
Yeah,
But when you have those markers at a practice basket, that adds that level for you to actually properly warm up.
Yeah. And it also adds kind of a cool game to your warm up as well. Start at 15, work your way around, go around in a spiral, see how many putts you make out of, if you're throwing 5 from each.
Well, we had done something like that when we were at that tournament, because we were waiting for everyone to play and come in at the halfway mark, and we played some games around that. And I think, after our wonderful performance at Spring Runoff, I'm sure part of it could have been that putting practice.
It absolutely could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think back to the courses that we have played. I don't think anything stands out. This is something that I've seen on a course and thought, yeah, that's great. That's a nice little touch that I've never seen at any other, of course. But I did notice one of the things that you put down there, and it's one thing that we both came up together. We came up with together.
Yeah.
It was shortly after the new T signs were installed at Hermitage Park. They were those, it's those kind of bars that you see. They're kind of angle iron. They've got a hole in the back. They're kind of grid.
Yeah, they're like what you
almost
see
like
on
a
a stop
pegboard.
sign.
Yeah,
What
like
they
a
are, but they
stop
look like a pegboard.
Yeah.
But you'll see those posted at a stop sign where they're a U-shaped channel with holes all the way up them.
Yeah, exactly. And we had said, because I think that's something that I've seen on Instagram, but I've never seen it actually physically at a course. But I have seen at tee pads when people are waiting that people have made them out of wood, but they've made like bag holders.
Oh yeah.
Because what we found is that people would go up to the tee signs and hang their bags on the tee signs, and if they're not made out of a sturdy metal, they can fold, they can bend, they can snap, even they can break right off depending on what they're made of. And we had thought, what would happen? What would it be so great if you just could go to Lowe's or Rona or wherever, Home Depot, there are many box stores available, and just buy a hook.
Yeah.
With a bolt. They've got you can buy hooks that you can bolt into things. Just take a hook with a bolt, poke it through one of the holes, take a nut on the other side and screw it into those holes. That way there's somewhere for people to hang their bags if it's raining or it's wet on the course or it's muddy around the tee pad sometimes. They don't need to hang them on the actual tee signs. There's hooks that are made for it. I think the actual pole of the tee signs are strong enough to be able to withstand it.
Yeah.
Problem being, you could probably put one on each side and stagger them maybe. So, or, something like that. Maybe you could get 2 bags, 3 at a push, depending on, how big the bags were. But that was, if you're not going to actually put them right on the tee signs, having a bag hook place next to the tee pad would be a great addition, I think.
Yeah. And I think really when we're talking about this too, when you're getting these features on there, when you go to a disc golf course, it's almost like we've talked about the evolution of disc golf, but it's the evolution of a course. So first of all, I'm going to use Langholm as an example because that's my home course, right?
Right.
So first thing was there's no course in St. Albert. Nick Legault goes out there and he buys 9 Home Depot buckets and hangs them in trees. Step 1. Yeah. Now you've got a course because you've got little marking flags in the ground for tee boxes and you've got buckets in there. So then after that, what's the first thing you need after that? You want a basket.
Yeah,
I would think. So you get a basket that goes in the ground. And then now Langholm got permanent status. It got poured tee pads. And I don't really care if they're poured concrete tee pads or if they're turf tee pads. I'm kind of at this point impartial. I would rather have a tee pad than no tee pad because we've gone to enough courses where it gets muddy, it gets trampled down, and it's just not even if it's dry, roots get exposed and it's not a good place to tee off. So start with baskets, move to tee pads, get some tee signs, maybe a course sign. Now you've got the basic starts to a course. You said the hooks to hang your bags, garbage cans. How many times you've been on a course there's not a garbage can? These are all little basic things, right? But to me too is having a washroom of some sort on a course. There's that time too. Have you had that yet where you're at a course, you've had a little bit of water, you've had a little bit of food, you've spent there, and nature's calling and there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean that's a little tricky. Where do you put it? Do you put it at hole 9?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say where. Where do you put your washer?
No. Because on most courses, I would say probably 1 to 9 goes out and comes back in again.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10 to 18 kind of goes out and comes back in again as well, right?
Right.
So if you put it at 9, you're putting it at hole 1, you're putting it at hole 18. That's kind of a central location.
Right.
So do you put one at the start and finish of the round, or do you put it on, if it is one of those courses that goes 1 to 9 out and then 10 to 18 back, maybe not in a straight line in and out, but if it goes out in a kind of a circle, do you put it somewhere at 9? Because you're caught halfway through the round.
Yeah.
But then what if you need to go on hole 5? You hold it till hole 9? Or if you get to hole 10 and you need to go, do you run back to hole 9? Or do you think I'm just going to keep going until I get to 18?
Well, I think these are very complicated questions. And I think the simple answer is just put one somewhere. Because if you got to go and it's close, like think about Wetaskiwin, that one there, if you want to get to a washroom from that course, you got to go. You got to get in the car and you got to run.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So I think just get one out there. But then the other thing too, you had done a little post because you had lost your Thunderbird when you rode at Bailey's, and they had a cool little feature.
I didn't lose it. I just left it behind. I knew where it was. I just forgot to pick it up because it was old player 2 playing again.
Oh, you left it in the middle of a course?
No, it was on hole 16.
Yeah.
The dog leg left.
Okay.
I decided to show Sonia that I know the local route through my Wraith up over the trees.
Yes.
And the wind was just too strong. It carried it way left into the LB.
Oh.
So I thought, well, you know what? I don't trust myself going up the middle. Maybe I'll see if I can. So I went up the middle, skipped, and it skipped OB on the left.
Okay.
Went in to get my Wraith, came back, marked it, threw the shot, and just carried on walking. So I just left it just inside the OB.
You left player 2 behind. So player 2 never finished that round.
No. He was disgusted. But luckily, like you said, somebody picked up my Thunderbird, had my name on it. And so often, unfortunately, we see that even if you do write your name and number on it, if you lose a disc, sometimes that never comes back to you, right? But at Bailey's.
First of all, private course. So that's kind of, I think, part of what makes this work.
Right.
More than a public course. But
yeah. Sea Change Disc Golf Park at Bailey's Crossing.
Right.
Has a lost and found box, and it's a pretty good one as well. It has 4, if I can remember, 4 smaller compartments that are good for discs, and then one larger compartment at the bottom that, in there I saw jackets, I saw towels, I saw water bottles, like a lot of the bigger equipment that you can put down in there. So 5 separate boxes to, if anything gets lost on the course, to pick it up.
Well, that's cool. And what's kind of amazing about that too is when you did that little video that was up on Instagram, you opened up each of the little pockets to see what was inside. We lose a lot of things as disc golfers. Apparently, we don't hang on to anything.
That is true. Yeah. Disc golfers are forgetful.
Yes.
Or just, not everybody's as good at aim as they think they are.
No, well, you think it was just discs, but there's whale sacks, there's towels, there's
water bottles.
Somebody's socks are left behind. It's like, when did you take your socks? Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
But and then I think there's a bit of a next level when it comes to disc golf courses. And maybe some of those next level things would be, and I haven't seen this anywhere, but this is more common with a golf course. But I think it would be really cool, especially with courses that have one basket position. It's a little harder when there's multiple basket positions. But if there's one basket position, is to have foot markers away from the basket. So this is the 50-foot marker. This is the 100. So it almost goes back to the putting thing, but taking it even further. Go 50, 100, 150, 200. Because sometimes you're standing out there, people are pulling out their rangefinders.
Yeah.
But if you could go out as far as 200 to 250 feet and you're standing there and that would be so cool.
Or if you're just inside 200 feet, it's, yeah.
And I've seen that done, like in golf courses, they've done it in some unique ways. Like one of the bushes that's out here, flower bushes, is that, I don't know if you've seen, it's a yellow one where
I've seen yellow bushes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like
there's more than one.
There's more than one, but it has these little yellow flowers, and it's kind of unique to Alberta. I'm sure it's out there in other places, but it's common in Alberta.
Right.
And I've seen that bush used at like 150 yards out from a hole, and they'll put one on each side of the fairway.
Yeah.
And I think, that would level up a course. So take Bailey's, and it's like, they're doing a great job. How could you level up even more?
Right.
That would be a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you say about their leveling up. I think they've actually there's multiple holes now that they've moved the basket further back, but they've left the shorter tee position still in the ground, so
Okay.
it gives them that flexibility. I've never seen it, in the last year or so, any of those holes that have pushed back or at least moved to a different position. I've never seen it gone back to the other position yet. So it's not like it's once a week or twice a month or whatever it might be. They're not constantly moving the baskets, but they always have that option of moving it up if they want to, which would
Yeah.
be interesting at this year's Edmonton Open if they do that between rounds.
That would
Move
be
the
cool.
basket to just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, it would give you kind of that chance. Sometimes too, it might be nice to make you throw the big arm in the morning and then bring it in a little bit for the afternoon when everybody's a little tired 2 rounds in one day.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. Another thing I'm thinking would be neat would be having like beverage and concession. And I have experienced that once, and that was when I played nationals last year, and I was at the course was set up on a golf course.
Mm,
And when it was set up on a golf course, you had the whole, what do you call that? The pro shop
yeah.
/ concession area. So when you're doing practice rounds and it's licensed
Yeah.
and you can go and grab yourself a Caesar or a beer or something, and now you're practicing, I'm telling you, there's nothing like that. That's amazing.
See, you're speaking to the wrong crowd.
Really?
Yeah, if I'm out, I mean, I've never experienced it playing disc golf as much as I have playing regular bowl golf.
Mhm.
But when I play bowl golf, I go out to play golf.
Okay.
I've gone out with friends before for practice rounds, and as soon as the beer cart girl comes around, hole 2,
Yeah.
guys are like, "You want a beer? You want a beer?" I'm like, "No, I don't want a beer. I'm out here playing golf." And then they get them again on hole 6, and then hole 12, and then by the time you get to the end, like they're 4 or 5 beers deep, right? And you think, if I want to go to a bar and drink, I'll go to a bar and drink. If I'm out here to play disc golf or golf, I want to play disc golf. I don't want to drink and play at the same time.
Well,
That's not where my head is at when I'm out on the golf course.
and that's fair enough.
And some people
I don't
do,
think
which
you
is
have
fine.
to have too many. At least I don't. But
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you, we're going to have, from what they've reported, a really hot summer this year. And if we're out and it's plus 30, and if I cracked a cold beer, just the sound of me opening that can, you can't tell me you're like, yeah, this round's not that important. So,
I'm all for having a beer after the game.
all right. When I'm
Yeah.
all for having one
During
throughout,
the
if it's licensed and it's not a PDGA event and all
Yeah,
of
I
those
know,
other
exactly.
rules and stuff. But that was something. I've got 2 more things and then we can move on from this topic. But another thing I was thinking, and I have experienced this before now that we're talking about golf courses, is Fort McMurray has a very long disc golf course that is on an actual golf course, and it's
Yeah.
there all year round. But what will happen is it might a hole might only go halfway or 3/4 up a long disc golf, or sorry, long ball golf course
Mhm.
hole. And then after that, it's a little bit of a distance to the next tee pad. So what they let you do there is you can rent a cart, and you could take your golf bag, whether it's your Zuka cart or take your backpack, and you can strap it to the back of the golf cart,
Right.
and then you can drive. Although it's sometimes a little embarrassing how far you're driving because you're not driving that far to
Right.
get to your disc. But I'll tell you, that was a cool feature to it, and you can play a lot more rounds when you don't have to
Oh, yeah.
walk.
I mean, that's taking, we've gone from carrying a bag to pulling a cart because, we're
Our
getting to
backs.
that age, right? Our backs. But now you're taking it to the next level of driving from hole to hole or from disc to disc. I mean, like you said, it's definitely going to make you play more rounds in a day,
Mhm.
which would be great. And I think if the course is long enough or it warrants it, like I don't, obviously you wouldn't drive a cart at Bailey's.
No,
It just doesn't sort
the
that.
terrain
Yeah,
doesn't
it doesn't
set up.
suit the course. But if it's feasible and possible and it's available, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that's a definite bougie twist to a disc golf course.
Well, and I might have told you before was when we were at that event. That was the one where I was on a card with Matt Wildman, right? Matt
Okay.
LeLacheur.
Yeah.
And he ended up acing a hole with his Simon Lizotle, his Lizotle hex.
Yeah.
So he aced the hole, and I said, "You gonna run that down?" He's like, "Sure." He jumped in the cart, sped down to the end to the basket, pulled it out, and then turned the cart around and came back. So it's a fun way to
You
run
see
down an
me
ace.
rolling.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was black and yellow for sure.
Yeah.
The other last thing I had there, which I thought was kind of cool, was what if there were like, you know, when you see with grass, and we've talked about this, about trying to make, and you've heard other people on other podcasts talk about how you could make things more
There's other
difficult.
podcasts?
I think there's one or two out there.
Yeah, okay.
I talk about disc golf, but it's letting the length of the grass grow. But I think it would be kind of neat is if you said, this is my specific fairway at a course. So you're at Bailey's now, and you could make it wider or shorter. You don't have to make it OB on the sides, but it's just that this is the fairway. It would just give it such a look. And then on the sides of that, you let it grow higher, and you could even have it at 2 different levels. But again, this is like lots of maintenance. But if you went to a course and saw that, that would be pretty neat.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think the fact that when you play ball golf,
wait, stop. You didn't press the button. What did you just say?
No, I don't have a button that says I agree with you. And when you play ball golf, you have this nice shortcut fairway where you want your ball to land.
Yes.
If you hit bad shots, I don't know if I've ever hit a bad shot, but if you do hit bad shots and it goes off the fairway, I've told that the grass gets a bit thicker.
Yes, it does.
It's called rough.
Yes.
So trying to, and in some courses, you're not just talking about a little bit of long grass. You're talking thistles and bushes and weeds and everything, and it can be really hard. Your ball can be sunk down in a trap, in a not a literal sand trap, but like in a pit almost. So it's like 20 times harder to hit your ball out of that than it is off the fairway.
Yes.
In disc golf, if you throw a disc and it lands in the fairway, or if you throw a disc and it lands in long grass, the only real disadvantage you have is you have to do a standstill. But even in some grass, you can still do a modified, even if it's a slow walk up,
right?
You can still do something to generate that power. I think if they let the bushes and grass and weeds and everything get out of control on the sides, you say it would take more maintenance. I don't think it takes any maintenance because you're just letting it go wild.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, when it starts getting over head height, it might need a little bit of trimming. But having longer grass or impeding you when you go or not OB, sorry, and that's the defining thing is if it's rough, it doesn't need to be considered OB. And a lot of courses they'll say if it's a wooded course and you hit a tree and you kick left, they don't put OB in the woods because going into the woods is like OB in itself.
Punishment enough,
right? But I think on a ball go course or a park style course or any of those wider open courses, if you can make rough a punishment, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the ways that I think we could kind of take a course from buckets and trees and get to that point where now you're going to the course and you're going, man, I've never seen a course this good.
Yeah. I would, the only thing I wouldn't disagree, but I think when you say about T signs, hooks to hang your bags, garbage cans, washrooms, I don't know if I would say those are like
they're not game changers.
They're not cool course features. I think they're just necessities to have on a course. A cool course feature would be like the 100, 200 markers, or
even too, you know what? This is another one that I'm just thinking off the cuff is that we just talked about the DEP Open, how there's not really coverage on that course because we just don't have the ability to cover. There's not enough money in Canadian disc golf yet to cover all of these events. But in some places you have live cams, like you have live weather cams, you have different things like that. And I know there's freedom of information and stuff like that, but maybe
in public, it's not.
Oh, if you're in public, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's like your free game if you're in public.
So my thing would be is that if you did have kind of a main headquarters or something, maybe you could have a pole with a couple cameras that are just live stream cameras. You got one on the basket of 18.
Yeah.
You got one on the basket of whatever else is close, and then you or I could tune in when there is a tournament, and you could just see that. At least you see that one hole. At any given time.
One thing I just thought of, and this might be, you can tell me whether you like this idea or not.
Hovering.
You're hovering, but I feel like you're going to like this one.
Okay.
It may take a little bit of effort, but once it's there in place, I think it would be okay. What do you think about covered tee pads?
Ooh.
So that when you're teeing off, if it's raining, at least you're teeing off in the dry. You can stand under a shelter. You can dry your disc off. You know that it's going to stay dry. How many times have you seen it when it's a wet and windy course? People are hiding the disc under their jersey or jacket or whatever, waiting for them to practice. They go up there and they swing their hand with no disc in their hand, pull the disc out quickly and try and rip it because they want to keep that dry contact. If you had a sheltered, covered tee pad, So somewhere where, like you said, you could set your bag down, bring your towel out, dry your disc, get it ready, a dry footing as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea
That would
for
be a
sure.
cool course feature.
I think so. And what would be a real good example of that was we were talking about the DF Open, and when I watched the video that Tobin Isaac put out there, where they were announcing the players when they were going up to the first tee, that was in this big covered tent.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all in this big covered tent. But then think about going about 30 feet at least out to the tee pad to actually throw your shot.
Yeah.
So exactly what you were saying, Tobin and the other players, they had their discs underneath their shirt. They
Yeah.
waited for themselves to be announced, and then they ran to the tee pad because it was raining like nobody's business. Ran to the tee pad, pulled that disc out, threw it, and went. But
Yeah.
if you could at least have one shot guaranteed to be dry in the winter, guaranteed not to be icy,
Right.
that would be great for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so I guess put it out to the listeners and anybody listening after the fact here, put in the comments what's the coolest disc golf course feature you've seen, or an idea that you might have had that you think would be good, and which one of our ideas is actually any good.
So I'm just going down a crazy avenue
Oh, I
now.
got so many more. We could just do this for an
like
hour,
you
but
get kids' toys that when you push a button, it says a pre-recorded phrase.
sure.
So what you could do is you could modify one of those and have it hanging on the wall of in this shelter.
Okay.
You could have it, and you'd have three buttons, and
Yep.
on the first button you push it, and it would say next up on the tee, and then you push button 2, and it says
Nice shot.
or yeah. So you could have your own intros just pre-recorded into the.
Man, we could go right down with this one. I think we could extend this for another episode, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, one of the things with these episodes, because they are a little bit more free range, hey, Darryl, I had some other topics that are in there, but one of the things I had was a quiz. And I don't know if you want to go to one of these other kind of topics, or did you want to go to a quiz?
It's entirely up to you. I don't know if you'll get much response from the chat, but if you want just to do it me, I can do it. I'm up for a quiz. I like quizzes, but if you wanted to have it a bit more engaging, that's up to you.
All right. Well, I think we should do the quiz because
Okay.
I want to make sure we do it. I spent some time on it.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss it.
So
So
if you like it, then we can do another one.
first thing, everybody watch Darryl's eyes. And when I ask him this question,
Is this question number 1, or is this just like a teaser for the?
No, this is just not even a question for the quiz. What I'm going to
Okay.
say is how this all happened. Was
Okay.
we've done
I know what you're gonna say.
we've done Jeopardy before, we've done Family Feud before, but I'm like a kid with a new toy right now.
I tried this. Go on. Sorry, I don't want to keep
Yeah.
interrupting you, but I just want to let you know that I know where this is going.
Okay. And I've been listening to other podcasts about like social media marketing and things like that, and they're telling me, Jeremy, I know you're 47 years old, but AI is the way of the future. And if you don't get on the AI bandwagon, then you're going to miss out and you're not going to be where you need to be in a few
That's
years.
fair.
Right?
That's true.
So I've been playing with ChatGPT, but it is like I don't know. It's like trying to teach your parents how to play Nintendo and they're jumping with the controller. They say garbage in, garbage out, and that's what I'm doing. So anyways, I tried to build some questions in a quiz using AI, using ChatGPT.
Right. So
How do you
try and
think
think like
that
an
went?
AI? Yeah, exactly. I can imagine.
So,
Well, put it this way: the last time I did that, because in the very early editions of Around the Basket, I came up with an AI quiz to do with you and Brock Giacchetti, I think.
okay, yeah.
And one of the questions was, what is the minimum dimensions a fairway can be?
Okay.
And there is no minimum.
So it was trying to trick you?
Yeah, exactly. They were not good questions, but
Well,
I have faith in you that you curated them and you kind of tweaked them a little bit.
Well, this is what I'm going to tell you. So
Go
this
for
is what I did at first, just to give everybody an idea of Jeremy working with AI. So
Okay.
I'm like, can you create 5 Jeopardy style questions about the Chain Out podcast? Please separate the 5 questions from the answers when you provide the results. Absolutely. Here's a fun Jeopardy style set of questions themed around Chain Out podcast, just to give you an idea where we started
Yeah.
to where we got to. So here's the first category. This 2-man team hosts Chain Out podcast, bringing disc golf conversations, course reviews, and plastic talk to the airwaves.
HDPE.
It was Jeremy
Yeah.
and Darryl.
Jeremy and Darryl.
So that was who was Jeremy and Darryl. I'll give you
Yeah.
one more that came in here. And it was, listeners of the Chain Out podcast know this Canadian province as the home base of Jeremy and Darryl. The answer was Alberta.
Yeah, even I got that.
Yeah, so that was going. So then I'm like, you know what? Can you make these more into what did I say? Please create them. Let's do it a little different. Let's make it kind of punny and
Oh,
funny
no.
and stuff like that. I tried
You
to
love a
ask,
pun.
and it didn't work. So anyways, what I did was I created my own questions based on what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
So I've got 20 questions, but I mixed 2 AI ones in there.
See if I can spot
So
them.
if you can spot the AI ones
Do I
that
get a
came in
bonus
there.
point?
Yeah, exactly. And I decided to go easy on you this week. So what I've done is I've taken a whole bunch of questions and it's themed by Innova discs.
Okay.
So this is Innova discs. First of all, let's see how many you get right.
Yeah.
Second of all, let's see if you can pick out the 2 AI generated ones.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
down for it.
So the first question for you and listeners, you can follow along. And even if you're listening after the fact, tell us how many you got right. Put it in the comments. If you were playing Monopoly with this disc, they might make you so angry that you might even try to flip the table. So it's almost like some of these are riddle-ish, hey?
Yeah. You're playing Monopoly.
With this disc, they might make you so angry that you may even try to flip the table. And I always have to fill the air because I can't have too much quiet because I got to give you at least a little bit of time to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't give me any clues.
No.
But you've kind of given me the clues in the question.
And what you need to do is you need to fill the airspace as you think. Otherwise, I got to fill it.
Okay. Well, I'll give you my thought process. I'm thinking, where is the clue? Is it, why are we talking Monopoly? Is it something to do with Monopoly? Maybe I'm thinking about the pieces. Well, there's a dog, there's a top hat, there's an iron. None of those relate to Innova Disc. So I'm not thinking that it's anything to do with the pieces. Is it anything to do with the places? This is a little bit tricky for me because there's so many editions of Monopoly. Is it a Canadian edition? Is it the English edition? Is it the Harry Potter edition? So I don't think that's the case.
Well, I think if you're thinking along those lines, these aren't hints, but what I can do with that might help you along is maybe I will just reword the question slightly, very, very slightly.
Well, hang on. Let me finish my train of thought.
Okay.
So then I think flipping the table has something to do with it. And I'm thinking, well, is that now something you're telling me? Now I'm trying to get in the mind of Jeremy.
Or AI.
Or AI. Flip the table. I think that's leaning towards this is a flippy disc. The number one flippy disc from Innova would be the Rolo. Hang on, Rolo, are you talking about rolling the dice? Is it Monopoly? Not, it could have been any board game, but are you talking about rolling the dice, the Rolo, flip the table? So that's where my mind is going.
All right. Well, and you know what? I think after the first one, you'll start to get more and more in the mind of.
Can you read the question again, please?
Okay. If you, and then after this, you're only getting a couple seconds, and then I'm telling you the answer.
Okay.
Or you have to give me you have to give me a disc.
Yeah.
If you were playing Monopoly or any board game with this disc, they might make you so angry that you may even try to flip the table.
Okay, I am going to stick with my original guess. I'm going to say the Rolo. I didn't hear the first time that you said or any board game. So that eliminates.
I added that for the second time.
Well, there you go then. So it's got nothing to do with Monopoly. It's to do with board games. I don't get the angry part, but I think that just leads into the fact that you're getting angry. You're flipping the disc. Flippy, Rolo.
All right, he's locking in Rolo. What did you lock in at home? I hope you didn't lock in Rolo because that is incorrect. You are 0 for 1. The answer would be the cheetah.
Seriously? No, I'm not having that.
How are you not having that?
Because that's
why would you play with the cheetah? The cheetah's making you upset. Look, so you're already upset.
So now I don't even have the right wording. It's not a cheater. It's a cheetah.
But you get it.
Go on. All right.
0 for 1. How you doing at home?
Oh, I know how they're doing. They're doing 0 for 1 as well. Nobody got that answer.
Well, you'll get this one. There is no way you're not going to get this one. Question number 2. If you have kids that were young in 2015, this earworm song is probably the last piece of music you would want to hear. And do you want me to do the last part of the question?
Nope. I got it.
All right. What's the answer?
The answer is the shark.
Yes, it is the shark. So the last part of the question was do 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 do.
2015 earworm song.
For kids.
Yeah,
That's what it was. So now
it
you're
was the shark.
1 out of 2.
I'm guessing. I'm gonna say so far. I mean, you don't have to tell me whether I'm right or wrong, but I'm just going like this is my mindset. That these have been both your questions so far. None of those were AI questions.
No, neither of those were AI. Don't
okay,
tell you
no,
yet?
don't tell me because now I
Okay.
know that there's only 8 left. And
no, there's 20 questions. There's 18 left.
Okay,
There's 2 in there.
okay.
So
Well,
I won't tell you for the
no.
rest. Okay, question number 3.
Yeah, but I'm liking the quiz. Though.
This is good?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are a cyclist, you probably want this disc on your bike and as a snack in your backpack.
Okay, cyclist. Because the thing. So the thing with Innova discs is I think 90% of them are named after animals in some way. Not all of them, but I think a lot of them are. But a cyclist, what would a cyclist have and what could also be related to a snack?
Mm-hmm.
So what would help a cyclist?
Yeah, so if you are a cyclist, you probably want this disc on your bike and as a snack in your backpack.
So, okay, please see my first answer. I'm going to say that when you're on a bike, you want to roll.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Rolo because a Rolo is a nice tasty snack that you would want to have in your back. So I'm going to say final answer, Rolo.
And twice Rolo has failed you.
Oh, really? It works though.
It does work. It does work in that one, but I actually chose the Arrow because you might want some Arrow bars on your cycle.
That's fair.
And then the nice bubbly chocolate treat.
That works. See, that one works.
Okay, so you're good. The cheetah worked. Even in the fact that it was kind of a cheat for the answer.
All right. So I'm 1 for 2, 1 for 3.
1 for 3. Question 4.
Okay.
Prince has a lot of famous
Rolo. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe. Prince has a lot of famous songs, but who knew one was actually about this little red disc?
Well, I think when you said Prince, I don't know a lot of his songs, but I instantly went to Purple Rain, but that doesn't really relate to disc golf. Then you said Little Red. Oh, no, I did get it. For some reason, I thought it was Little Red Beret, but I think that was somebody
Raspberry Beret.
Oh, okay. When I sang it in my head again, I do know the song. I don't know the song, but I know that I'm putting 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Innova Corvette.
You are correct. Little Red Corvette.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're 2 for 4.
50%.
Yeah, you're 50%. Okay. Question number 5.
AI question.
Could be.
Go ahead.
When your disc takes an unexpected turn and lands in a tree, you might say it's gone completely blank.
So
I don't know if you know this too. I want to talk a little bit about AI. Not that this one's AI.
Yeah, just the way that you asked it is AI.
But I just had caught on ChatGPT too. That's what they're doing. Because I know a person who actually, they're a single person and they really embrace, they're always like, when you look at a bell curve and they talk about like early adopters, majority, late majority, all of that type of thing, laggards.
Yeah.
They're always the early adopter.
Right.
And they dive in with like head first.
Right.
So they've been talking to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like it's their best friend. They've given it a name. They're talking back and forth. They're all that way. And I just saw today that now ChatGPT, you can pick a voice for ChatGPT.
Really?
So when you talk to it, kind of like Siri or anything else, it has its own voice.
Okay.
But anyways, not saying that this is ChatGPT, but if it was, when your disc takes an unexpected turn and lands in a tree, you might say it's gone completely blank.
So there's a phrase, and I don't know if it's a phrase over here, but when you go mad, and I'm not going to say the full phrase, but they say you go completely ape.
Okay.
Something with another word on the end of it.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah. So that's where I'm leading because an ape would live in a tree.
Yeah.
So, but if you say, can you repeat the question one more time, please?
You bet. When your disc takes an unexpected turn and lands in a tree, you might say it's gone completely blank.
See, because it's AI, I'm going to say it's an AI question. I'm not sure if it's using turn as in because it just took an unexpected turn, it went the wrong way, or if it's trying to say that it's an understable disk because it took a turn. So I'm not sure if it's leaning into the turn understable part of it, or if it's just saying it went not where you threw it.
Mm-hmm.
But well, I could say crow because crows live in trees, but you could say it's gone completely crow. No, it's gone. I'm going to stick with my first original answer, and I'm going to say ape.
Ape. Well, I would like to just give you the point for it because the answer, yes, it is AI. They chose Sidewinder. AI decided it'd gone completely Sidewinder. So I think they were trying to go for sideways. It went completely sideways, but Sidewinder was the answer that they chose.
See, based on that, I think the first question was AI. Because I think what they tried to say was cheater, but actually they went cheetah.
Well, at least that one was a lot closer. Sidewinder.
Yeah, Sidewinder and sideways.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're correct. That's AI. So I don't know if you want to what we want to do with that point because you didn't get it, but
No.
can you beat AI at its own game?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No.
So all right.
All right. So I'm what?
You're 2 for 5.
2 for 5.
One of them being AI, so it has an asterisk beside
Okay.
it. Number 6. I am pretty sure that after Jennifer Grey carried a watermelon, her and Patrick Swayze got together and put on a show doing this dance.
Well, that's the Dirty Dancing thing or references.
Mm-hmm.
They put baby in the corner. What dance did they do? It's just known as the Dirty Dancing dance, isn't it? Is it called the Swan Dance? He picks her up in the air. I don't know what dance it's called, and I'm trying to relate it to an end of a disc.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, You Had the Time of My Life is the song.
Yeah.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. The watermelon. I've never seen the film, so I don't know if they
You're
referenced
missing
it.
out. It's such a great film.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that I want to watch it with you, but Jen and I will watch it from time to time.
Can you repeat the question again, please? I'm trying to pick up on the clues.
So I'm pretty sure that after Jennifer Grey carried a watermelon, her and Patrick Swayze got together and put on a show doing this dance.
So I don't think Watermelon, Jennifer Grey, and Patrick Swayze have anything to do with the disc. I think you're just trying to lead me into Dirty Dancing at that point. A dirty disc? A dirty dancing disc? Dancing disc?
That's a whole nother quiz.
What is the name of the dance?
And I bet you there's somebody who's going to be listening to this after we record, listening to it on YouTube, and they're just screaming
absolutely.
at the thing going, guys, come
for
on.
one, it's always easier when you're not in the studio.
Yes.
And two, it's easier when you're sitting at home. But also, if you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, then it's the most difficult thing in the world.
You're going to kick yourself when you get this one, if you don't get it.
I don't know. So now I'm thinking of discs that are related to dances, and I can only think of one, but I don't think it relates to Dirty Dancing. Or it might, because I don't know if this is known as the Dirty Dance. But all right. I'm going to lock in Mamba.
You are correct.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't think that I wasn't targeting the specific final dance, but they do the merengue, they do this,
right? I've heard they call it the forbidden dance, don't they? Because
the Dirty Dancing one, maybe. But
the Mamba, I think, is nicknamed the forbidden dance.
Oh, is it really?
Or is it the chat? Okay, I'm not sure. The tango.
But you got it right.
I got it right.
So you're at 50%.
3 for 6 again.
This one's a quick one.
Okay.
Question number 7.
Rolo. No.
Acme Industries has created many different tools and traps, but none are good enough to stop this disc.
What is the Roadrunner?
Yes. Yeah, I figured you'd get that one.
Yeah. 5 for 7.
Okay.
AI.
So you're 4 for 7. I don't know if you'll go 5 for 8. I'll tell you that much.
5 for 7.
No, you're not.
Am I not?
No, you were 3 for 6. Now you're 4 for 7.
4 for 7. Sorry.
And I don't know if you're going to go 5 for 8. This disc's name sounds like a bird that is always on time.
A bird that's always on time. So in of a disc that are birds, there's the crow. There's. I bet it's got nothing to do with birds, is it?
I'll tell you, when I put
Hang
my,
on.
my response at the bottom, I'm like, this is so strange. Like I don't
Right.
even know. I like at least I could have told you when we looked at the other one
Mm-hmm.
where we could have said sideways, sidewinder.
This one
I'm
has
I'm
no.
struggling. You might have to tell me how it's
It's
related.
always on time, so it's never
This
late.
disc's name sounds like a bird that is always on time. I have my own thought on that
Bird
one.
is always on time. I mean, so there's an eagle, there's an eagle owl, there's the crow. Um, what else is there? There's the firebird, thunderbird, t-bird. Um, I'm gonna say t-bird.
And I would give you points for that because that was all I could think of as an
Yeah.
answer, but it chose the eagle. I don't the eagle, like was it trying to go for the early bird or like the like
Hmm.
what is an how is an eagle
Always on
always on
time.
time? So is that Jeremy or
Eagle
is that AI?
time. Oh, that's AI.
Yeah, it's AI. So you've got the two AIs, so that's
Okay,
good.
that's good. We get them out of the way.
They're
So
out
now
of
I'm
the
4
way.
for 8, so I'm
You're
back to 50%.
That's right.
All right.
Chevy has been used. This is
Corvette.
question 9. Chevy has been using this disc in many of their commercials and jingles, like
Maybe you didn't need to add that bit on the end, but I'm going to say that's the Rock.
yeah. All right. So now you are at
6.
5 for 9, 4
Uh,
for 9. Anyways,
yeah, 5 for 9.
5 for 9. It was a sad day. This is question 10. It was a sad day when Australian Steve Irwin met with this disc.
What is Stingray?
Yes. Look at you. Now you're rocking and
6
rolling.
for 10.
If you had a red version of this disc, you might be able to try your hand as a matador.
If I had a red version of this disc, well, matadors hold out a cape, a red cape. Oh, or a red rag to a bull is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a red version of this disc, a rag? No, there's no rag. There's no cape. A red. Can you repeat the question again?
If you had a red version of this disc, you might be able to try your hand as a matador.
Hmm. A, there's no bull, as far as I'm aware. There's no bull disc. But
Really?
if you're, I don't think there's a bull. I've never heard of a bull.
I really wish we had a live listener or two to just give you the business right now.
Is it bull?
Is that what you're called?
Oh, well, you're confusing me by
Well, I got to try.
questioning my.
You're on a little bit of a roll here. I don't want you to do too well.
What is there? A matador? Matador and bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Bull.
Mm-hmm. Mm. He's thinking. I can see the cogs are turning.
I'm thinking maybe it's not bull, but maybe it's something like baloney or like you've added something in there. But
Well, I have done that so far. The cheetah started us off down on
don't need to
that
start
one.
that one. Bull.
So yeah,
You can time me out whenever you want or demand an answer.
I think I'm going to demand an answer. But I could tell you. Do you want me to tell you something about it? Do you want one clue?
I don't know. Do you want to give me a clue? Is that fair? Do
I'll
I
give
get?
you. I'll
Do
give
I have
you.
an asterisk if I get it after this?
No, you don't have an asterisk. I will just tell you that I've seen you throw this disc.
Oh, okay. So I've thrown it. Okay, good. You've seen me throw it.
And if you had a red version of this disc, you might be able to try your hand as a matador.
So what have I got? I've got a stingray. I've got a rock. I've got a invader. I've got a You keep doing that. It's a cape, a blanket, a rag.
Maybe I really want to say something when I do it.
Wow. Now I think you're. I'm gonna say no because I don't get your clues you're giving me, and if you give me no, you're giving me too
Are you
many
ready?
clues now.
Okay. Toro, Toro. What do you think they say when there's a bull coming at them? They
If
say
I had,
Toro, Toro. So if you had a red disc, you could use it and say Toro, Toro. That was a good one.
no, it wasn't.
That was a
A
good one.
toro is not a thing. You don't have a red toro. You say toro.
Right. But I said if you had a red version of this disc, you might be able, because it's red. That's
Yeah.
what a matador does.
But no, that's not a toro. The thing they hold is not a toro.
No. But they say Toro, and
They
you would,
say
and
it.
if you had a red disc,
But
you could
the
do
color
that.
of it doesn't matter when I say toro. I could say it blue, toro. If I say it green, toro. It's exactly the same. It doesn't matter the
But
color of the word.
if you had a red stingray and you said Toro, that doesn't even make any sense.
You know what?
Do you know what Toro
Next,
means in English?
red.
Bull.
Oh, bull. Okay, yeah.
So it's a pretty good clue.
No, because you could have said a matador fights a.
Yeah, that'd be too easy. I already gave you the Roadrunner
No.
one. All right.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna do a quiz next week of 20 discs of either MVP or Thought Space or whatever, maybe
Yeah.
a mixed,
Yeah.
and see how many you get right from my clues.
All right, we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see. I don't think you and I could play one of those games where it's like they do that, like the pyramid game or something where
Yeah.
you try to get the person.
We're not
to
on
say
each
the
other's
word.
wavelengths at
No.
all.
All right, number 12. So what
Yeah.
does that put you at? Is that 5 for 11?
No, I think I'm 6 for 11.
6 for 11?
Yeah.
Okay. If our prime minister is flying to a destination, his protective detail might say this has landed when he arrives.
Well, I thought the eagle has landed, but you've already said eagle.
No, the AI said eagle. I had to give a real one, so you got it right.
Oh, don't you just? You can't give me the same question.
No, I only in this one time because AI did it wrong, so I wanted to show you that I could do it right.
When have you ever done a test where there's been the same answer twice?
When have you ever done a test where AI put some garbage inside it?
Well,
So
either
we've
use it or don't
eliminated
use
the
it.
garbage.
Okay, eagle.
Yeah, the eagle. So
All right.
you're good.
So what am I now? 6 for 12 or 7 for 12?
Yeah, we can go back and check your work afterward.
All right.
Okay, chocolate with some caramel inside and enough pieces to share with everyone on my next tournament card.
Chocolate with caramel inside, or caramel.
Caramel. And enough pieces to share with everyone on my next tournament card.
Chocolate with caramel inside with enough pieces. Now, you say pieces, it makes me think of Reese's peanut butter cups. But Reese's peanut butter, none of those are discs. Chocolate with caramel inside and enough pieces. What's chocolate with caramel inside? Chocolate with caramel. Okay, forget the chocolate with caramel. Let's go to discs. What discs are chocolate or sweets or candy?
Yeah, you're thinking, I guess, probably right in that range, but yeah, so chocolate with some caramel inside and enough pieces to share with everyone on my next tournament card.
So enough pieces would be 4. 4 pieces.
Minimum. Just trying to help you with your thought process here. Don't get stuck.
At doing questions.
Well, not the way you want it done. I just want to make sure that you've actually got some time
But your questions are like
they're beautiful.
ambivalent, not ambivalent. What's
Ambiguous?
ambiguous?
Come on, somebody tell me.
So
out
you're
there,
saying
by being ambiguous, I think I'm pretty good.
with enough pieces for everyone on my tournament card. So okay, there's 4 people on a tournament card or more. Well, don't say on a tournament card then.
Well, what if I wanted to give them more than one? There's more than enough pieces to do it.
That's not what you said in the question, though.
I didn't say exactly enough pieces to give to my tournament card, did I? I said enough pieces, not exactly
So
enough.
basically, then from 4 to infinity.
Sure. Exactly.
That's why even give me a number.
Well, because it's not one piece.
Okay, chocolate covered in caramel or caramel covered in chocolate.
No, chocolate with caramel inside.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're on the same page.
I don't know any chocolate covered candy or anything.
You know,
to do
I'm
with
going to tell
candy.
you when you hear the answer, the people at home are just like screaming.
Oh,
at
they
you.
probably are. Maybe they're more on your wavelength than I am.
I think so. I bet you if our good fan Sonia was playing along, she knows enough Innova that she could figure this one out. Because she's a fair amount of Innova fan.
Chocolate. I don't know. I see. Okay, in fairness, one, I don't eat a lot of chocolate, and
Yep.
two, I don't. Hopefully this isn't like a Canadian only brand.
Oh,
that I don't
it could
know.
be.
Yeah,
You and I don't know that. It
Yeah,
might not
that's
be an
true.
English brand.
But that's not an excuse. But
Yeah, because you've been in Canada long enough.
fair, yeah.
You've walked in
I
enough
just don't.
7-Elevens
Yeah,
and convenience stores.
yeah. I'm going to say I'm going to lock in my answer as, it's easily that disc, the one that we're all thinking of right now. We're all screaming at the
And your time has run
speakers.
out. You got to give me a disc. Just throw the eagle back out there.
Rolo.
Yes.
Of course it is.
How did you?
That's funny.
Yeah, you guessed it
No.
like twice already, and then the time where it actually
was
applies.
it? Of course, the chocolate covered in caramel covered in chocolate.
And multiple pieces, right? I needed you to know there was multiple pieces.
Yeah.
Because it's not one long stick of chocolate.
No, there are multiples, but I wouldn't have narrowed it down to 4.
Well, I didn't.
The card.
I narrowed it down to, yeah, okay. Number
funny.
14. Back in the day when smoking was actually cool, you might ask someone if you could borrow or have a blank.
Oh my goodness. Back when getting drunk was cool. Okay, say the question again. I just laughed at the smoking part. Back when smoking was cool.
Back in the day when smoking was actually cool, you might ask someone if you could borrow or have a blank.
If you could borrow a smoke? Borrow a tab? See, there's different words for smokes in England that we use.
Yeah.
That we would never use.
This is probably a Canadian one.
Yeah.
But you would, like, you think of like a Canadian accent.
Or what do they call them? Isn't it a dirt? No.
Mm?
But I'm just trying to think what and relate it to a disc. You
gotta. And it is Canadian now that you're saying it. But we are a Canadian disc golf podcast.
No, that's fair. A tab? No.
Back in the day when smoking was actually cool, you might ask someone if you could borrow or have a, hey, buddy, can I bum a...
Yeah. So, not that I don't think you did either. Maybe you did or not, but I never smoked.
No.
So I don't know the terminology.
You probably when you hear
I've heard of it. I'm sure I probably have heard people say it.
And I'll tell you, you've thrown this disc as well.
Oh, okay.
So this is a disc This isn't like, because I could have went with Innova discs that were way off the grid.
No, that's fair.
And I could have went with stuff that's not even in production anymore. But you actually have this disc.
Right. That's fair. Okay. Look at my bag. I've got an AVR X3.
He's going to go through every disc.
I have a Cayman. I have a Wombat. I have a...
Yeah, buddy. Can I borrow or have a Wombat?
I have a Mako 3. I have an a Leopard, a T-Bird 3, a TL3, Firebird, Thunderbird, Sidewinder, Gorgon.
I'm amazed you know your bag so well.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
A Valkyrie, a Mystere, a Wraith, a Destroyer, a Turn, and an X-Cal.
Really? Was that it?
Yeah, I have multiples of discs. So, then in my putter pouch, I've got a Toro, a Pig. Pig? Could it be? Can I bum a pig? No, you wouldn't call it pigs. A Pig, a Toro, an Invader, a Rhino, a Zero. I've changed up that part. I'm going to say, oh, I got it.
What is it?
It's in my putter pouch. A dart.
Yes, you got it.
I was saying dirt
You were so close, but I didn't tell you, right?
Yeah. No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
And it just came to me after going through it. So dart. Yeah.
Back in the day when smoking was actually cool, you might ask someone if you could borrow or have a dart.
Yeah.
You got a dart for me, buddy?
Good question. Sorry it took so long, but I got there.
15. Good thing. That's why I'm glad we jumped to this, because I knew it would take a little longer, but I'm loving it.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay, good. Number 15. Lucy Liu played a volatile character in a movie where someone questioned her heritage and the questioner lost their head courtesy of this disc.
So the movie is Kill Bill. She chopped somebody's head off with a samurai sword.
Mm-hmm.
A sword? Samurai? A blade?
I don't know that you have this one. I don't know if either of us have ever thrown it.
No.
But it is one you will know.
I don't have a Whippet. I don't have a Corvette. I'm guessing just by the name, if it's something like sword or a samurai. I don't think it's samurai. That's more of a Discmania or
yeah. That would be like my sensei, whoever.
Yeah, exactly.
Discmania, yeah.
But I'm thinking it's going to be a high-speed driver.
Mm-hmm.
And Colossus? No. I don't even know if that's in it. I think it might be. I really cannot think of a high-speed driver, anything to do with swords.
Well, I'm going to go with this question a bit. I might even do a quote with it. But Lucy Liu played a volatile character in a movie where someone questioned her heritage and the questioner lost their head courtesy of this disc. And she's like...
She's Cottonmouth.
She says, if anybody questions my American or Chinese heritage, you're going to lose your head just like that. Any more questions? Something like that.
Something like that. It's not those exact words, but
paraphrasing.
Yeah.
So that just gave us a
lot of
F-bombs
in that.
There is a lot of F-bombs. There's a lot of... That one's a tough one to watch if you haven't seen anything violent.
Great movie.
It's good, but it's like so violent if you've never seen a violent movie like that before.
The sword is Gateway, or not Gateway. West Side.
Well, Darryl, I think we're going to have to ask you for an answer.
I don't know why it keeps coming back to Daedalus, but I know it's not Daedalus. But I'm just trying to think of a high speed.
Oh, that would be a great one for a Hercules question.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Was Hercules English too? Did you watch it when you were younger? With like Hercules and Toot?
Was
that across the pond?
No, we had Hercules, but we had different Hercules. Not
Hercules.
No, not
that one. Oh, have you ever seen it?
I know the reference. I've never seen.
Oh, and Daedalus, it was.
Isn't that in the Nutty Professor?
Maybe
with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, could be, but with
Hercules.
that would be. But Daedalus too. It was like every single Daedalus would have all these creatures,
right?
And all of these creatures would make the same sound, and it was always like,
kind of like my intro.
Yeah, it was like that. Essentially, that's what it was. And it was like, oh, look, it's the Hydra. We better go get it, Herc.
Okay, what's the answer?
The katana. I went with the katana.
I have heard of that.
Katana blade,
I've never thrown it. I have heard of it.
All right, we're 3/4 of the way through.
Okay.
We don't know how many you've gotten right, but we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll learn that for the next time we do a quiz.
We can go scroll through and be like, did you get that one? Did you get that one?
And you can count them up. So 16. This Marvel superhero wears purple and doesn't always show up on the top of everyone's favorite hero list.
Always wears purple.
And doesn't always show up on the top of everyone's favorite hero list. And it's a Marvel superhero. You know me with my superheroes. It makes sense. Is it Marvel? Is it DC? Is
You're saying Marvel
brand?
I don't really know Marvel and DC. I know most. I can separate most of them, but some of them I wouldn't.
Okay, then because
you gave me a weird one, I'd be like, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go too crazy, but because this is not your familiar one, all I'm going to do is this Marvel superhero Avenger wears purple and doesn't always show up on the top of everyone's favorite hero list. If you were more comic booky, I would leave Avengers out, but I'm so many heroes have been Avengers really over the time.
But the purple is obviously a big clue that this person wears purple.
And doesn't always show up on the top of everyone's favorite hero list. If you were a fan of the movies, you would know
Okay, that's
immediately.
fine.
I don't think you've thrown this one. I'm trying to think of why we would know it. Maybe you've thrown it. I think Brock swears by it. Maybe, or is it Rebecca Dawn? I'm not sure. Anyways, we've
it's
heard
not
of
Invader.
it. No.
Purple superhero.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going back to the Hulk only because he wears purple.
Well, yeah,
pants,
he wears purple pants.
but he's not.
But I think I probably would have went with green on that one
Yeah,
if I was
exactly.
doing a clue.
He wears purple.
I would have said, "You don't want to see this disc
indigo.
angry."
Okay, well, if you don't think I've thrown it,
But you'd know it.
yeah.
Would it help?
Well, if the fact you think I haven't thrown it would indicate that you think it's a fast speed disc.
No, you might have thrown it. This is what I'll do. I actually wrote this one differently.
Okay.
And I would. Oh no, that was for the other one. That was for the cyclist one. Never mind. I didn't write a different one for this one. The cyclist one, I had another good clue.
It's not Colossus.
No.
There's no.
But Colossus is actually a good guess only because if you're talking about comic book,
that's what
Colossus is a bad guy.
Okay.
No, or is Colossus?
I don't even know if a Colossus is.
No, isn't Colossus the big metal guy that's in Deadpool? That's Colossus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Colossus. But
I can't think of any. All I'm thinking now is any of a disc that might be superheroes.
Yeah. We're going to need an answer from you, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
What I do like about your quizzing is that you don't want to give up.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make necessarily for the best audio or video.
I know, because it's the same with the dart. It'll eventually come to me, but I'm just in my mind. I don't have the fastest mind. If you've noticed that.
Well,
but I'm slowly going through and just trying to picture me looking at the end of a website, thinking, "Oh, I like that disc. Oh, I like that disc."
Well, I think what we'll need to do is when we do these quizzes, let's grab from one of the board games, one of those little quick hour clocks.
Yeah.
That does a minute.
Right.
And then when you flip it, it's a minute. And then that's when you're done. So I think your minute is done. So you're going to have to give an answer.
I'm going to say...
the Corvette.
I'm going to say... the Wolf.
Oh, that's a good guess, too.
It was just a random disc.
How about the Hawkeye?
I actually have a Hawkeye.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
But you've thrown it, maybe. Someone says it's as straight as an arrow, too. That one.
Yeah. No, I have a Hawkeye. I actually swapped that for a Daedalus for Brent Baker. He gave me a Hawkeye.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't throw it because I have the Eagle O.
So 17. Chick Hicks from the movie Cars would certainly throw this disc and then shout, "Ka-chigga, ka-chigga."
Why would Chick Hicks throw it?
You got to know the movie.
Yeah, no, I know the movie.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm thinking, is Chick Hicks the green one?
Yes, you are correct.
So he's not the old timer.
Nope.
He's the rival to Lightning McQueen.
Yes.
I know when he's saying that.
And he throws shade at Lightning McQueen.
Because he's got the lightning bolt.
Yep.
What does he do? Doesn't he like blind him with something?
He does. He blinds him with his sticker.
Oh, is it just his sticker? I thought it might have been his mirror, but I'm like, there's no end of a mirror.
No, so he has a sticker of this kind of, or as close, I guess, as he could get to this.
Yeah.
Chick Hicks from the movie Cars would certainly throw this disc and then shout, "Ka-chigga, ka-chigga."
It's not as if I can picture it or see it, so I'm not got anything coming to mind. I'm going to say something car related. Well, lightning isn't really car related. Chick Hicks, oil, piston cup. He did what in his cup? He's got a mustache, a grey. Has he got a grey mustache?
Brown, gray, whatever.
Yeah,
his grill is like a mustache. He's green. You're all the right track.
Yeah, I can see it. I just can't remember exactly what is famous he's for. So I'm going to say Viper.
Okay, Viper's incorrect, but green.
Cobra.
I like that. Cobra's wrong too, but I'll give you one more hint because now you put your guess in and you're wrong.
Fine.
No, but now let's see if we can
for
get
fun.
for what, the repechage or whatever.
Go on.
Okay. Hey, lightning. You know what comes after lightning?
Thunder. Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what he says is,
Yeah.
comes after lightning, thunder, ka-chigga,
Yeah.
ka-chigga, or something, or,
Yeah.
lightning comes after thunder, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, 18. We got 3 left. An Edmontonian took his love of this disc to the next level when he tattooed his body and decorated his vehicle to look just like it. Famous Edmontonian has
Oh.
come up
Well,
once in a while.
you said decorated his body. I thought it was going to be the Firebird.
I
I
said
thought it was...
tattooed his body.
Well, yeah,
and
Tim has
decorated his
tattooed his
vehicle.
body with the... I don't know if he's got a Thunderbird, but he's got a disc golf basket.
So it's an Edmontonian.
Yeah.
You don't know them.
Right.
Took his love of this disc to the next level when he tattooed his body and decorated his vehicle to look just like it. And it's come up twice.
So when you say this Edmontonian and decorated his vehicle, I think of the Oilers.
Right.
But then you said he tattooed his body of his disc. So now I'm thinking it's not the Edmonton Oilers, it's back to disc golf. So somebody in Edmonton. So maybe not.
Maybe not disc golf, but you're on the right track. But the thing is, to give you this is not ruining anything about it. But
nobody I know from disc golf in Edmonton
right.
has decorated their vehicle to do with... Oh, I know what it is.
You got it now?
I think. Well, no, maybe not, because I thought it was...
And it came up twice, but it was probably 20 years apart where this guy kind of got famous. And he started out with tattoos.
Yeah.
And then by the time they talked to him 20 years later, it had gotten even more. He got even more crazy. You think, okay, yeah, he gave up on this, but he really leaned into this.
Someone from... So when you say really loves this disc, so is it a disc golfer?
Well,
no. It's not. Okay.
What have we done? The cheetah was a disc that went with the story.
No, it didn't.
The Corvette was a disc that went with the story.
Okay.
Prince didn't throw a disc.
Right.
So this Edmontonian's probably never thrown this.
Well,
I don't even know.
I have no clue.
Really?
I'm going to say...
So put your guess, and then I'm going to give you the clues till you get it.
Okay. I'm going to say leopard.
No. But he kind of looks like a bit of a leopard. Let's talk blue.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk James Cameron.
Avatar.
There you go. The Avatar.
Oh, okay. There's a guy in Edmonton who...
We got to look it up. I should have had this queued so everyone could see.
Right.
We'll look at it after.
Okay.
Wait till you see. You won't believe it.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's talking about really committing to something.
Right.
And making it your life.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think he's a plumber or some other trade.
Okay.
2 questions left. It is 1980 something. And your eyes are turning square because of this early interstellar game.
My eyes are turning square. Oh, Invader.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Space Invader.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Did you see this disc? Maybe
this is the last question.
This is the last question. Question number 20. Did you see this disc? Maybe you didn't. But you are a bit thirsty and hot, so who really knows?
So, did you see it? Didn't you see it? Hot, thirsty. That would lead me to be an oasis. But I've never heard of an oasis.
No.
You're a bit thirsty. Did you see it? Didn't you see it? Oh, Sam's favorite disc. That would be the Mirage.
There you go. The Mirage. 20 questions in 37 minutes or more. Next time it'll be 20 questions, 20 minutes.
So I got Mirage.
Okay, you count them.
Yeah.
You got the Invader.
So, yeah. Okay, so say the name of the disc and I'll tell you whether I got it right or not.
Okay, you'll count them. The Mirage. The Invader. The Avatar. No. The Thunderbird. No. The Hawkeye.
No.
No. The Katana.
No.
No. The Dart.
Yes.
Yes. The Rolo.
Yes.
Yes. The Eagle. I think you got that one because that was the one where we used the same.
Is that the Eagle has landed?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
The Toro.
No.
The Stingray.
Yes.
The Rock.
Yes.
Yes. The Eagle So Strange. That was the AI one. No. The Roadrunner. Yes.
Yes.
The Mamba.
Yes.
The Sidewinder.
No.
The Corvette.
Yes.
The Arrow. No.
No.
I don't think you got the Arrow. The Shark.
Yes.
and the cheetah.
So I got 11 out of 20.
So, okay, so that's the mark.
Over 50%.
Over 50%. And 2 of them were AI.
Yeah.
So if I was to give you 2 other ones, I don't have them right now, but
Right.
I could give you 2 more
No,
to
that's
get you
fine.
there. So 11 out
I
of
think
20.
I don't know if when you were getting towards the end, you made them easier because you were getting bored or something like that. But I found like the last couple were easy, but maybe it was just the way that I was getting into your mind or something. I don't know.
No, I think you were. I think you were, because you were starting to get the hang of the way I
Mm.
was thinking about it. It's just, for me, I'm really a pop culture guy. I'm a movie guy. I'm a
Right.
video game guy. I'm all of those things.
And
So if you don't know those, it's not going to help you. But I did
Yeah.
try to go, like I did the chocolate bar and did like the prime minister. That's not really, that's the eagle is
See,
landed.
and that's where I look at that question when you say, well,
we're Canadian, so I kept it Canadian. I could
Yeah,
have said,
no, it's fine.
when Air Force One lands somewhere, or the Secret Service says,
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if the Canadian Secret Service refer to
I'll tell you,
the Canadian Prime
as the
Minister
eagle.
as the eagle.
No,
So
because
you
they
were-
might say the goose. The goose has landed.
Well, I don't even because every president has a
name.
different name.
Right.
Um,
But in how many movies have you watched?
but
they would never have said the chickadee has landed.
No, but when you think of the eagle has landed, I think of something separate. But you're like, well, let me relate that to Canadian Prime Minister. But that wouldn't
It
be.
might not be the specific
Yeah.
reference.
So if I'm trying to get the eagle has landed, I'd be thinking of something else. Or I'm thinking of what's the Prime Minister of Canada called? What's his nickname? Is it the goose? Is it the and I wouldn't even be thinking of eagle because I'd be like, well, the eagle's the president.
The U.S. Yeah. But the thing is I guess I could have said the blank has landed, and then maybe. But I think when I was like, might say this is landed when he arrives. Anyways, I'll give you one alternate that I had.
Okay.
Tell me if you could have guessed it.
Right.
Is with a disc we've already done.
Okay.
In Lord of the Rings, it always seemed that Legolas never ran out of these when he reached into his quiver.
I'm like arrow. There's no arrows.
You're like, yeah,
arrows.
there is.
Is there an arrow? Hang on. Does Jeremy mean arrow?
Yes.
See, that is not the same thing.
But it's a play on words. The arrow.
But
oh, you wanted me to say, oh, this disc, this
should
disc
be
is so
no, you
dynamic.
should say
so blank.
Robin Hood was well known for using these.
Oh, but I said the
What's the answer?
The arrow.
Arrow.
Yeah.
Not arrow, because then it's like this dynamics is what's aerodynamics.
Well, I can't wait for your super specific clues next week.
Exactly.
Well, let us know if you did watch this one. How many did you get right? Did you beat Darryl? Tell me what you think about my clues.
Let me know. Yeah, exactly. Let me know whether you think that you would have gotten more, whether you think I'm right because Jeremy's questions or clues were out to lunch, or whether you think I'm just stupid and do not know, I cannot understand a simple question, and Jeremy was spot on with his questions.
I'm hoping that I get that answer, because the one thing I'm going to tell you is with the toro, you were like dancing all around it, like Matador. Matador has to do a bull. There's nothing called a bull. I'm like, yeah, there is. The toro is a bull.
No.
But, I think the thing that'll be tougher, though, is that you really, really know your Innova discs. I think the best thing to do for me is, I don't know if it would be just doing MVP Axiom discs. I have a few of those. I know enough of those.
What would you say you know the best?
I would say it's MVP Axiom, but to me, it's almost like you just have to be popular discs of any type. You know what I mean? Like,
oh well, obviously you picked Innova because I just throw Innova,
and
I know a lot of
inside
Innova.
out, yeah.
But if I was to go like Westside or Discraft, like, do you think you'd be able to get those discs?
Well,
or is it more discs that you would have in your bag, or that I know that you would have thrown?
I think it's more that way, because like you said, West Side, I don't know that I would know if you went down their catalog. I wouldn't. But if you were like, I'm almost, I don't think we can go that general,
If
because
I
was
like Discraft and thought of a disc like a nebula,
yeah,
would you? If I said this cosmic, because it's hard if you have a broad range of disc manufacturers.
do it. Yeah.
Whereas I'm Innova, I just have to think of a line of discs, so I can think that's that manufacturer.
Yeah. Where I think so if you did MVP and
Thought
Axiom and maybe Thought Space, you could take those three. The one thing with something like that is now you go for a clue and you're like, this pioneer of electricity came up with so many ideas,
Exactly.
Nicholas Blank.
It's obviously
Then
the
it's
Tesla.
Tesla.
Yeah.
And I could get that. Or you could be like Elon Musk.
Newton.
Elon Musk's Cybertruck, or this type of vehicle has been.
Yeah.
But
See,
then I would get it.
See, that's the sort of clues I would give.
That's what I just did give you.
Like this answer to this clue kind of sounds like
cheetah. Oh, but some of them were good. You got the Roadrunner. You got the do. I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, no, and that's what I think. Sometimes you gave too much away in the clue, and then other times the clue was so vague that there was no way that I would even get it because it was like the word sounded like in a different language. But the color of the disc didn't mean anything.
You know what? That is such a funny thing, though, and I guess you have to give some.
All right, here you go. In that Toro question, if you had said, if you were a matador, you might be facing one of these things in front of you.
Yeah, or I would have said, if you were a matador, you might shout this disc's name as you waved it. This red disc's name. Doesn't that seem so easy? So anyways, what I would tell you though, which I would give mad props to, is anybody who does create questions for quizzes and clues and that, this just shows that example, is that even though I think these are simple, and I know everybody else who was listening was, you didn't think it was simple. So it is tough to write a good question that can hit, because I'm like, dude, this is so simple, because that's the way my mind works.
Yeah, exactly.
But your mind might not work.
And it's easy, and it's like everybody says, it's 100% easy when you know the answer.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't know the answer, then you don't know it, and it's so hard to try and get to the answer.
Well, it just was so funny with the Rolo one, because you'd been like, Rolo, and
then the answer was Rolo, and I'm like, I don't know. And then you're like, just say eagle, and I'm like, ah.
So, anywho, that's what we got going.
Oh, you know what?
You want to get somewhere?
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome. That's awesome. Well, we're at the end of the episode, Darryl. Let's wrap this thing up.
We should, yeah. I don't know if anybody stuck around this long, but we thank you for everybody to listening and watching. That was an hour and 46 minutes.
I know, for a 20-minute quiz.
We appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video when it comes out. If you don't like watching this video later and you think, if I was only in the chat, I could have been answering these questions and I could have been shouting at Darryl, giving him all the answers, then you should subscribe to our Patreon. Even the free tier gets a link to join up and watch the episode live.
Yeah, and that's where we can see your comments. You can shout us out. You can give us mad props. You can argue with us. You can agree with us. We don't care. We just want your interaction. Whatever it is, we want it. Well, maybe don't swear at us or put anything too crude in there. We don't want to have to admin you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But otherwise, we want your thoughts and opinions. And you know where we want them? The place that we're going to see everybody the next time we do one of these things.
Do you know what? If we went out to a course,
yes,
and they had covered tee pads, so the disc was nice and dry, I would throw it down the fairway. I'd land about 200 feet from the basket, but how would I know that? Because I'd look down and there'd be a nice yellow bush. You know the yellow bush.
Yeah.
On the side of the course. That would tell me I was 200 feet away.
Yeah.
So then you would throw it as well, and you'd be out 50 feet from the basket.
Oh,
we both do our up shots. We wouldn't get them in, obviously. We just lay them up. But where would they be?
I know where they'd be.
They would be right. Hang on. Can't say it yet. I'm not ready.
Let's go to guess two. They'd be right to tell you we're getting loopy at the end of the night.
Yeah. Where would we be?
We'd be around
the basket.